Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I have a double page ocean theme layout for you. A couple years ago my daughter and some of her friends from college went on a cruise and they did a dolphin encounter. So I went and found some of the pictures from her experience with the dolphins and we are going to get those put down on scrapbook today. I do not have permission from her friends to show them on social media, so I went ahead and covered up. There's 4 of the girls there, but I decided to cover them up since I didn't have permission to show them. We're going to be using the Ocean Friends, or I believe it's called Friends of the Ocean paper collection. This paper collection has been on the last chance for a while, and I do believe it's sold out except for the dies and the Soft Waves embossing folder. Those 2 items are still available. The stamps are sold out and the paper is sold out. But this collection has some beautiful colors. You can see one side is very colorful with the ocean animals on them. The other side is the softer patterns that we have in the coordinating colors. They all have, except this one page. I've used some of it, so these 2 pages here, I'll show you the back side of this one as well. These are the 2 pages. This one is the only page that doesn't have any of the ocean animals on it. I will be bringing in several of the stamp and die sets, but I'll show you those as we go along. Let's go ahead and get this cleared off and we'll get started. All right, I'm going to start building this on a white base. And I found some mats at Hobby Lobby, so I'm hoping this is going to help me keep things a little straighter and a little more in frame for you than the first video. But we're going to start on a white base. Let's go ahead and lay out our photos so we can kind of see. I was thinking about this a little earlier. I found a kind of pattern style here that I think I'm going to like. I'm going to put a column of 3x4s here. And then I'm going to use, this is my main focal photo. And then we'll have a picture of her here. And then a larger picture over here. I think I'm going to do my title here. And then we'll have some embellishment clusters around. So let's take a look at some of the papers and see what we think will work. Okay, I was looking at these papers here. My pictures have a lot of blue in them. So I think I want to pick one of these softer tones to run. I'm going to run a big strip behind the pictures here. So I was just trying to decide if I wanted to have pink. Pink looks good, or the orange. That looks really good with the blue. I really like the orange and the blue together. And I only have 1 page of the pink, so I think we'll go ahead and pull the pink out and we're going to go with the orange. And then we want to have a different pattern running across the top. So I'm thinking one of these 3 patterns would look really good. Let's just try them out one at a time and see which one we like. So we have, this one almost is, I don't like that it cuts off so many of the animals or the fish there. We have starfish. But this is a really light pattern and I really think it blends in too much with the white. So let's go ahead and try this. This one is a very colorful. It has color all the way to the edges. It has lots of this color here, which I believe is pumpkin pie. And it pulls those out. And then we can use some more pinks down in here to help embellish, to help bring out the pinks in that. So I think I'm going to use these 2 patterns right here. Okay, I think we're going to leave about a 1/2 inch border all the way around. And then I think about 1.5 inches of this colorful paper here at the top. And then we'll cut a strip here. I'm going to run both of these papers to just inside these pictures here. And then we're going to mat this photo also. I was just kind of waiting to see exactly what size I wanted the photo. It's printed as an actual 4x6 right now, but we're going to mat it to make it pop off of this white, because the photographer that took this picture, the water was really bright, so it really blends into that white background. So we'll go ahead and mat that as well. I did mat these double matte with white and the light side of Pool Party. So we'll get that one matted up to match. And then I believe we're going to run our paper to here, and then we'll use embellishments to decorate around this one and then around our title. So let me go and get these papers all cut down, and I'll be right back. Okay, while I was off camera cutting my paper down, I made some minor changes. I decided to go ahead and make this paper run all the way across the page. I thought this picture looked much better if it was on the paper as well. So I've changed. I'm going to, instead of putting my title down here, I'm going to put my title up here. Then we'll do an embellishment cluster here, here, and here, and then I'll leave room for journaling here. So I think that's going to be, I like that much better. So off camera, I went ahead and got my papers cut down, and I got everything glued down, all my papers glued down, except for this one piece. I was going to show you how I edge distressed these strips of paper. It just gives it a nice outline, makes it pop off the page, and just I think gives it a finishing touch all the way around the page. So I am edge distressing these in Early Espresso. I have my edge distressing tool, so I'll just get me some ink. And it depends on how dark you want. I just want a light outline, so I was just running mine down the sides to give that white paper just an outline. If you want it a little thicker, you can always flick it. And if you want it really thick, you can really flick it a little harder, and it'll give it a lot more ink on the edge. But I just want a nice thin coat outline, so I'm going to put it all the way around my piece here, just running my dauber up and down each edge. And you can see it just gives it a nice little outline edge. Then we'll let that dry just a little bit. We'll slide it right back in there, right on top of this one. And you can see how much better it pops off that white background when it has a defining edge. For embellishments, I have brought in the Ocean Friends Stamp and Die set. I've stamped several crabs, lobsters, seaweed. And you can see on the seaweed, I've put a little ink distressing on them just to give them a little depth, make them pop off that page just a little bit. I've also brought in some seaweed from Utterly Amazing, and I have some sand dollars from Seaside Wishes. So we're going to use these to make our embellishment clusters. All right, I'm going to start right down here. I'm going to do an embellishment cluster on this corner. Our title will be here. We're going to do an embellishment cluster here, and then a small embellishment cluster here because I want to save this area for journaling. So we'll just start building on this corner. We're going to keep filling up this little area. I also found some blue sparkly paper. This is some little coral from Seaside Wishes. And I thought this blue, these pictures have so much blue in them, I thought I would use just a little piece of this in each cluster just to bring in some blue color and tie in the blue from these pictures. So we're going to add a piece of that to each one of our clusters. We'll just keep moving things around until we get everything the way we like it. I did stamp some in the Calypso Coral, which is one of the coordinating colors, and I stamped some in Berry Burst. And I think I'm going to use mostly the pink ones. Since I have so much orange paper behind, we'll use the pink accents to draw the pink out of this paper. So as we move our embellishments around, let's see. Let me get some height. We're going to use some of these longer pieces that'll give us a little more height as we go around the page. I think I pulled this one. I was just experimenting with this one. I actually did a berry burst outline and I put Calypso Coral on the inside, and I thought it turned out pretty cute. So I think we're going to go ahead and use him on our page over here as well. And I have some of these smaller pieces of. Okay, let's focus right up here. These are not going to be quite as big. We'll start with the sand dollar on top. There's that little piece of blue. I have some starfish too. We could pull a starfish in down here. And then I have some starfish. Let's put a pink starfish. We need some coral. Get some coral stuff back in there. I think I'm going to go ahead and break this in two. I'm going to put half of it on this side and half of it right over here, just to make it look a little wider. Okay, we're going to do one more small cluster down here. I don't want it to be too big because I want to put my journaling here. So let's just start putting some of our pieces in and see what all we have. We'll start with a sand dollar. I'm going to put it on the top. I don't like everything to be underneath the photo. I like to have some on top. Put the blue on top this time. We'll get some starfish in there. And I have some of these little small pieces of sprigs that I've cut out. Let's see if we can get some of those in just to fill in and make it look a little more full. I also cut some seaweed out of this blue, so we can use that to get some height up this side of the page. I didn't want to overdo the blue. Just have little pieces here and there in each cluster just to pull that out. Now let's see. I'll try to get that one to come out right there. All right, that's looking pretty good. We'll use another crab right here in the front just to kind of close this spot up here. So I put him right in there. I have to move him in some because he's hanging off the page. All right, I think that looks pretty good. For my title, I have used the Alphabet a la Mode dies. These dies are a great resource to have in your stash. They are a great font, they're perfect size, and some of the more popular letters, they have more than one. So this is just a handy little set to have in your stash. And I went ahead and cut my title. I cut my letters Fin-tastic Moments, thanks to ChatGPT for that title. I cut them out in white, and then I took my berry burst to add a little more pink, and I started at the bottom and I just ink blended on them, and I got lighter as I went to the top. That gave them the ombre effect. The Fin-tastic has already been glued down. I lined them up on my desk and put the tape across to get them all straight, and then you can just pull them up. This one hasn't been glued down yet. Pull it up, get your glue on, and then you can use the tape to move it back and get it taped down. And then when it's dry, when it's been on there for just a little bit, you can just gently pull your tape off, and there's your title all stuck down. All right, let's go ahead and get this one glued down. I'm going to put it off on my desk here for just a second. All right. I'm going to get glue on my layout. So we're just going to take our liquid glue and just put little dots of liquid glue all over each letter. Then when we get ready to pick it up, we don't have to mess with all the little letters, each one having their own glue and being nasty. You just pick it up with the tape, put it where you want it to go. Make sure it's straight. Straighten that one up just a little bit, and then mash them down. And then I give it just a minute or two to dry so that it doesn't get, it doesn't just pull right back off. All right, I have a little dash here that I'm going to put for my Fin-tastic. Get it. There we go. Get just a little bit of glue on that. I should have had it under the tape. There we go. So Fin-tastic Moments. I thought that was a cute title because she was having fun with the dolphin and holding on to the fins and writing. All right, let's go ahead and I think I'm going to put just a little bit of decoration right here by the title so that doesn't just like it's just out there. Let's put a little piece of seaweed, and then I have a little star fish to put on there. Let's get our glue on there. And that little starfish right on the end. All right. Then I also looked through my stash. I found this set. It's Snow Days, but it has all these incredible titles. And I'm going to use the little one here. It says Unforgettable Memories, because I'm sure this is absolutely unforgettable memories for her. We're going to put that right across here. And that'll kind of lead off our journaling right underneath. And then I also found this from the Tags to Go set. It says Life's Detours Are Better With You. I'm sure she had a lot of fun with her friends. So we're going to add this here. I am actually going to pop this up on foam tape. Oh, I've lost my foam tape. Here it is. There we go. We'll pop this up on foam tape so that it'll stand off a little bit. All right. We're going to put it right over the corner right there. All right. And I actually found some more photos. So I have some more photos here, and I'm going to put those in a flip flap. And we'll just put those right on the page protector when we get done. But it'll just stick down right here, and then it'll be interactive. She'll be able to open and close it and see some additional pictures. So we'll get that on the flip flap. Let's go ahead and pull this right here off. All right. Like that. I think I'm going to add a little something right here that just kind of looks like it's floating out there in space. So I actually have a piece of this pink. I think we'll make a little tag to put right here. All right, so we're going to cut a little dovetail in the end. About halfway through, just make a little slit up. Then you start from each corner and cut up to the top of that little slit, and you have a dovetail. And I think we're going to slide this right in here and have it come right across the bottom of this picture, just to give it a little something to look like it's holding it up and it's not just out there floating. All right. Well, we got that one crooked. Straighten that up a little bit. Let's go ahead up underneath that picture so that it's not hanging out the bottom. All right, while I was off camera, I made one more change. I decided I didn't like the wordy bits so close together on the same page, so I went ahead and moved the unforgettable memories over here. I just made this like a double tag and put it underneath our friends, and I think that looks much better. So let me hold these up close for you. There's that beautiful alphabet a la mode. All of those Ocean Friends dies. If you've enjoyed this video today, I'd appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to my channel so that you're notified when more videos are made. I do appreciate the views I get and the comments and the feedback. So let me know in the comments what you liked about this, and I will see you next time.